Hello everyone, in this video I'll explain how we can mine frequent pattern from FP tree generation. For this we will consider an example. So a transaction database is given and the list of items also given in each transaction. So here in this one transaction ID is given. We can see here transaction ID is given and the list of items for each transaction is also given here. That is T100, I1, I2, I5. Then T200, I2, I4, T300, I2, I3, so on. So all this transaction, which all items are present, it is given in the table. So what we have to do is we have to generate an FP tree from this given set of transaction data. So for that, what we have to do is first we need to identify the items present in the transaction. Here we can see that I1, I2, I3, I4, I5 are present in this transaction. So the first step what we have to do is each item, how many times it is appearing in the transaction, we need to find it out. So for example, I1 we can find here it is appearing 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times we can see that I1 is appearing. Similarly, we need to find the remaining I2. How many times I2? 1, 2, 3, then 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can see that I2 is appearing 7 times. So what we have to do is each item we have to count the number of times it is appearing in the transaction, and we have to form a table and arrange it in the descending order. So the highest frequency one will come at the first. So here we found that item ID for I2, the support count is 7, means 7 times it is appearing. I1 it is appearing 6, I3 it is appearing 6, I4 is appearing twice, I5 is appearing twice. So once we arrange this one, what we have to do is in the next step here, the transaction item here for each transaction, we know that here for the first transaction ID T100, we can see the items as I1, I2 and I5. Now depending, we can see that I1, I2 and I5 is the first transaction. Let me, for reference purpose, I'll just write it. The first transaction is T100 and we have I1, I2, I5 as the items, transaction item. Now refer to this table, we know that I2 is having maximum frequency. So what we do is we rearrange this one in this order. So I2 will be coming first, then I2, then after that I1 is having 6, so I1 we will be doing, then I5 is having 2. So what we have done is from this one, the order we have changed like this according to the frequency of the item. So that is, we have rewritten all the things here. So now the first one I have rewritten it as I2, I1, I5, that is based on the frequency of the item. So similarly for all other transactions also we have arranged in this order. Now after arranging this in order, what we have to do is we have to draw the FP tree. So when we are drawing the FP tree, we should start with a the first node should be a null node. So we should be starting it with a null node. So here we can see that I have started it with a null node. So after this null, what we have to do is the first transaction here we can see I2, I1, I5. So we have to draw the nodes corresponding to that one. So I2 we have drawn here. So I2 is here, then I1 is here and I5 is there. So we have arranged, we have added these nodes in the given order, that is I2, I1, I5. Here we can see that. So the first node is I2, then I1, then I5. Then we will see this is, so we have to see now how many times. Now the second transaction is I2, I4. So I2, I4 is the same direction, means we don't have to rearrange it. So I2, I4. So when we are taking I2, what happens is like I2 is coming again here. So I2 and I4. So in this order, if you see the first one, we have I2, I1 and I5. But now we have the sequence as I2 and I4. So I4 is, since it is not there in this one, so we have to create a new node I4. So we are creating a new node for I4, that is this one I4. Then the next one we will be doing here the third transaction, that is I2, I3. I2, I3 also the same sequence. So now we will be doing here, we will be coming here. So I2 is here, the first one I2 we have already drawn, then I I2, after I2 we have I1 and I5, so I3 is not there, so we have to create a new node I3 separately. So we are creating a new node separately here, I3. Then the next one we have here is this one, I1, I2, I4, and when we are arranging it in order, we are getting I2, I1, I4, this one. I2, I1, I4. So I2 we have here, already it is there, then I1 is there, I1, and then I4, I2, I1 and I4, I2, I1, I4. So I2 is here, I1 is also there, so I4 we need. So we are creating with I1, we are joining an I4 here, because here I1 is joined to I5. So we need to create a new node I4. And now we have to see the next transaction, that is I1, I3. So it is in the same sequence. So we'll be doing I1, I3. So we are just going here. So I1 is not there now. So it is starting from the top node. If you see, it is starting with I2. So we don't have I1 as the starting one. So what we have to do is we have to create a new branch here with I1. So this I1 is created, and then we are joining I3 along with that. So I1 and I3 is joined. Now next we have here I2 and I3. So here I2 and I3 we have here. So I2 is here already, it is there. Then I3 is also there. So we can just add it here. So we added one more I3 there. So now I3 became 2. Now here in the next one we have I1 and I3. So I1 and I3, we know that here in this right hand side we have I1 is already there. So we are adding one I1, then I3 is also there. So I1 and I3, we have put it there. Now here in this transaction we have the order as I2, I1, I3, I5. So we have the order. I'll just write the order here. I2, I1, I3, I5. So this is the order I2, I1, I2, I1, I3, I5. So we will be starting from this top node. So we'll see it is I2 is already there. So we can just use this node and increase this number. Then we have I1 there. So I1 is also there. So we don't have to change it. This I1 we can use along with this one. Then we have I3 is connected. No, I3 is not there. So we are creating a new node I3 there. And then we have I5. So we are creating an I5 also there. So we got I2, I1, I3, I5. The next one here we can see the last transaction, that is I2, I1, I3. So here we will again see. So I2 is there here, then I1 is here, then I2, I1, I3. So I3 here we can take this one. So I3 also is done. So we have drawn this tree, FP tree. Now what we can do is we can identify the values here, and we can see I2 here. This is I2, and how where it is connected here again we have an I2. I2 is here. Then we have I2 is only one. Then next one, this is done. Now I1 is here. You can see that I1, how many times this I1 is now connected to this I1. Then this I1 we can see that it is again connected to here also. So this I1 is connected. So we have 4 I1 here and 2 I1 here in this path. In this path we have, the first path we have 4 I1, and in the second path we have 2 I1. Then here now we will see I3 is here, the node is here. So in this path we have two I3s, and then again we have I3 here in this node also. So we are connecting it here. So in this node we have two I3s, and again we have two more I3. So here in this node we have two more I3. So here also we have I3. So I3 we have one here, then one here, and three nodes are there for I3. Now we'll see for I4. I4 is starting here with this node, then it is again connected to this. So here one I4 is there, then here again one I4 is there. Then for I5, it is starting from here I5, one node is there. Then I5 is connected again here, so one I5 is again here. So we have identified all these nodes and the frequency of occurrence of that items in each node. So now here, now what we have to do is now this FP tree is ready. Now we need to identify the frequent pattern generation. For that, what we will be doing is, for this we'll form a table, item and conditional pattern, which is present in this tree. And then here, when for I5, if we see here, we can see that for I5, this I2 I1. So if we see this node I5, so this I2 and I1 is like, if you're tracing the path, I'll just make use a different color. I'll just, so that you can see it. Okay, so here we can see, when we are talking about this I5, we are coming like this. So I2 I1 and I5 is 1, means I2 and I1 we can consider only 1. So I2 and I1, 1 is present. Then again for I5 we have I2, one more I5 is here. So we can take like this. So that is I2 I1 and I3. So I2 I1 I3 also 1 time it is occurring, because here I5 is 1. That means only one path we can trace. Only once we can trace the path. That is I2 I1 and I3. Next one, so this conditional FP tree. This one, I2 I1 is 1, I2 I1 is 1. So from this two set, we can see that I2 and I1 are occurring twice. So I2 is 2 and I1 is 2. So the frequent pattern generated is, we are considering for I5. So I5 and I2 twice, then I5 and I1 also twice. Then one more is there, that is I2 I1 I3. From this we can find I5 I2 I1. That is again, because I2 and I1 are the frequent patterns, so we need to consider that one. So I2 I1 and I5 will be taking it as 2. So those are the frequent patterns for the first item. Then we will see the second item, I4. So when you are checking I4, we can see here I4 is coming here. This one is I4. First I4 is here, and one more I4 is there. Here it is coming. So two places it is coming. So the first I4 is coming like this. It is coming like this, and here. So it is I2, I1 and I2 and I1 is tracing this I4, and I4 we know it is only once it written. So I2 and I1 is 1, and the second one I4 is here, that is in this direction. So I2 and I4. So one is I2, I2 here we can see that the second one is I2, I1. So for I2, I1 is 1 and I2 is 1. So this two set, we can see that I2 is present. So I2 is occurring twice. Then we are considering for I4. So I4, I2, we have it for 2. So this is I2, I4, twice it is happening. Now let us see for I3. So I3, if we see here, it is, we are starting from here. This is I3. So when we trace here, it will be coming like this, I3. So the path is I2, I1, and two more are there. So one is here, that is I2 and I2 is there. Then one more I3 is there, that is here, I1. So we have here I1, 2. Then we have for this I3, I2, 2. And for this I3, we have I2, I1 twice, because I3 is 2 is given here, I3 is 2 is given, I3 is 2. So all those things are traced twice. So I3 we can see I2, I1, 2, I2, 2, I1, 2. So here in this one, frequent pattern generation, so I2 is here, it is present, here it is present, so we can write it as 4. Then I1 is 2 is present, I1 is 2 is present. So for this pattern, for this item set I3, we can generate the frequent pattern as I2 is 4. So I2, I3 is 4. Then again I3, I1, 2 it will come. Then we have one more I3, I1, and this one I2. I2 is 2, because from here we have I2, I1 and this one I2. So this I2, I1 and I3 becomes I2, I1, I3, 2. So from here we are getting I2, I3, 2. Here we are getting I3, I1, 2, and from this we are getting I3, I2, I1 as 2. So this is the frequent pattern generator for that data item. Now for the transaction I1, we will again see for I1. I1 is starting from here. We can see that the pattern generated for I1, it is when you are tracing like this, we can see I2 is there. So I1 is here 4. That means I2 4 we can take, because I2, this I2 7 is given. So out of that 4 is I1 is 4. So I2 is 4 there. Then I1 we have again here in this node we have I1. So when you trace here, I1 is 2. So here there is no previous node, so we don't have to take. So we have to take here I2 4 times. So here I1 is only 2 nodes present there. So we can have I2 4 there. So now when we are taking the frequent pattern for item I1, we know that I2 is occurring 4 and I1 is occurring. So I1, I2 will be 4 times. So this is the frequent pattern generated. So from this FP tree, this is how we can find the frequent pattern generation. Now what we have to do is, I'll just explain again. What we have to, from the given set of transaction, we have to count the number of the frequency of each item, and then we have to arrange it in descending order. That is, the highest frequent item will be coming first, and then the next maximum, like that we have to arrange it. Then once this table is ready, means the frequent item set is done, the descending order we are arranging, then we go back to the transaction table and we have to arrange each transaction in that order where it is occurring. So here we know that I2 is having maximum frequency than I1. So we are arranging each item in the frequency of occurrence. So I2 is maximum, then I1, then I5. So every transaction we are arranging it in the descending order. Then we can directly draw the FP tree starting from the first transaction. So what we will be doing is, we have to, when we are drawing the FP tree, it should be starting with a null node. Then we have to, from the first transaction, you have to draw the nodes. Then we can complete the FP tree by going through each transaction. And then what we have to do is, we have to identify how many nodes are present for each item. So here I have marked with dotted line, red dotted line you can see. So we can just connect each item set and the frequency of occurrence of that items that we can find. Then final, for after obtaining this FP tree, we need to find the frequent pattern. So for getting the frequent pattern, what we have to do is, each item, that is, we need to find I1, I5. Suppose if we want to find the frequency of I5, we take I5 there. Then we have to trace to this null node, which all nodes are connected, which all nodes here we can see. When I5 is taken, we see that I1, I2 nodes are connected. So this I2, I5 is 1, means I1 and I2 is traced only once. So I2 and I1 once. So here I5 we have again one more I5 is here. So in this I5 we can see that it is I2, I1, I3 is traced, and so we, that is also here I5 is 1, means this I2, I1, I3 is traced only once. So here I2, I1, I3 is traced once. Then we have to combine this set along with this one, and from this set we can generate the frequent pattern, and from the frequent pattern along with this item set we can find the frequent pattern from the FP tree. So we can generate all the frequent pattern from the FP tree like this. So this is how we find the frequent pattern by means of FP tree without candidate generation. So I hope you understood this one. Thanks for watching. Thank you all.